Hey, Screaming Geek, me here. I am Jerry the Geek. Today we got a nice discussion to go over. We are going to talk about the bad practices of studios and the boutique labels of, my opinions on how I think collectors are getting taken advantage of, in my opinion. But before we dive into that, if you like physical media, if you like the, 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, check out my other videos on the channel because I do some of these discussions, collection updates, reviews, unboxings. Check that stuff out. See what you like. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn your bell notifications on. So up for discussion today, we are going to talk about bad practices and how I believe collectors are being taken advantage of. So I just wanted to get my thoughts out there for you, and you can also comment below. Let me know what you think about any of these situations. Because, we all have opinions, and I want to hear what everyone else has to say. I've seen a couple of these, topics I've seen discussed on mid-level media. Ken's talked about some of this stuff before. But the final one I'll get to at the end is what really prompted me to want to put a video out. But to start off, I want to start talking about the rising cost. Not overall, basically the main price of the movies, 4Ks, have been pretty, they've kept them, most of the 4Ks when they come out, new releases are $30, which I wish they would come down a little bit. 4Ks have been out for a while now. But my issue with cost is steelbooks, especially since Best Buy has gotten out of the game. Ken has talked about this a lot. Those Lionsgate steelbooks, you are seeing them, being released at a Best Buy for $20 or $22, even cheaper. Sometimes they're 17 and 18. They kind of start hiking up a little bit near the end. And a lot of times they had nice slip covers. But now they're doing these Walmart exclusives with Lionsgate, even some of the other studios, but mainly Lionsgate. They've really jacked up their prices. A lot of these steelbooks are charging up, $35 on up. I think that's just, without thinking about the Best Buy, a few dollars more for a steelbook is okay, I guess, when you're looking at the big picture. But just the whole idea of going from the $20 to $22, jumping up to $35 to $40. And I think that's really where they're kind of screwing over the collector. And it's like, hey, they really want these. Let's gouge them for as much as they can. Again, I've never been a big steelbook collector, but over the last couple of years, started seeing some decent deals and seeing cool designs. I've been kind of getting a few more here and there. And then, of course, now it's like, wow, just as starting to collect some, the prices start going up. So I'm being more selective. I don't need to have a steelbook. A lot of it will depend on the artwork. Or if I've got, if it's a franchise, if I got a couple of them, I want to, like the Jaws, I had the first two steelbooks. So for 3 and 4, I didn't need to get them, but I wanted to go ahead and have the whole franchise in steelbooks. So I did get those. Now, next up is a topic I know Ken talked about this a lot, is the lack of options when they're releasing stuff, when they announce the release dates for a lot of these titles. They're not giving us the option of a standard slipcover release and a steelbook. They're giving one or the other. And some of they've been releasing just, Sony is a big culprit of this. They're releasing stuff on steelbook only. And it kind of sucks because a lot of us don't give a shit about steelbook. We want the cheapest possible version, and we're not getting that option. It's like, hey, here's this new movie coming out, steelbook. You're going to buy this. We're not going to release the regular 4K if you want it. Or even Blu-rays. Some of the Blu-rays they put out, they're steelbook only, no 4K. Or they delay them. I just noticed that Halo Season 2 4K just came out this week. But steelbook. But after looking at Blu-ray.com, looking ahead, the standard version is coming out another month or so. So it is coming, just not the same time. So you really have to be aware when ordering if they are releasing a regular version or not. The Taxi Driver from Sony, they're putting out a steelbook of it, but it's not being put out a standard version. But of course, that ties in with the next topic is box sets. We look at the Columbia Classics line. I understand the reasoning for not releasing them individually at first because you want to keep it exclusive to the set. I mean, if you release individuals, they're not going to sell the sets. So I understand that, but I think after a year or maybe even 2 years out, shouldn't be any longer than that, release the standard individual releases. You've made your money on the sets. People have bought them. But for us, the Columbia Classics, I'm not a collector in that aspect. Majority of those titles I do not give a shit about. I think every volume, there's only one movie I really want. I'm not going out and spending $150, $200 for a set just to get one movie. I'm just not that person. They are gorgeous sets. I've seen the unboxings there. I mean, if you're a collector, if you got the money to spend, they are gorgeous. I will not deny that. They are incredible sets. But if you're in it for the movies, they're just not enticing to me. So I forget how long it's been since Volume 1, and I think Jerry Maguire was in the first one. I can't remember. I didn't jot that info down. I probably should have. And that was, only one I was interested in. Another one, there was Stripes. That was the only one I wanted out of that one. The last one that came out, Starman, I really want that one, but I'm not buying a set. I'm just going to hold out. Hopefully Sony will get the heads out of their ass and release these individually after a year or so. Again, I understand the exclusivity, but after a year or two, put the individuals out. If you see the demand for them, I think there is. Another one is Warner Brothers, especially with the Rocky franchise. They just released Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa in 4K, but the individual releases are only on Steelbook, not a standard slip. I don't want the Steelbooks. They're nice. They match the Steelbooks that came out for the first 4, but I was one of them that bought the collection, the Knockout collection from last year, the first 4 movies. I'm not buying a set again. Screw them. I'm not doing it. I just want the individual releases, a nice matching set with the first 4. And for some reason, they did not release them on standard slips, just the Steelbooks. But if you go to Amazon UK, they got the standard slips available. So Warner Bros., what gives? That's bullshit. Let's release the standard slips in UK and not the US. So I want that option. I don't want to order from the UK because I got to spend an exorbitant amount of shipping costs. It's going to be expensive. It actually costs more than it would be the Steelbooks. But again, I didn't get the Steelbooks of 1 to 4, so I don't want 5 and 6 on steel. And plus, I did my own custom covers, so I want to use my matching custom cover set. That's another reason I want the individuals. So I'm going to play the waiting game to see if they do release them in the US. If they don't, I'm probably going to bite the bullet and go with the UK. Luckily, right now, finances, I can't really afford it, so that's why that helps me play the waiting game, because I can't really afford to spend the $40 a pop to get these. Now, the final topic that ties in with the lack of options is the 4K aspect of it. Universal is really good for this, and the other studios are starting to do it as well, is releasing movies on Blu-ray, but not 4K. And they don't even announce the 4K. They'll wait about 5 or 6 months and say, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and put out a 4K of this after we've already spent the money on Blu-ray. And the two that come to mind, you all know about Megan and Violent Night. Fortunately for Megan, I held out. I did not buy the Blu-ray. I was like, I don't need it. I'll wait. But Violent Night, I waited about 5 months. I saw it at Walmart. They had it on sale. I was like, what the hell? Let's go ahead and buy the Blu-ray. I forked out the money for it. Bam, a week later, 4K is coming out. Bullshit. So that's another aspect. I think they're really screwing over the consumer. Taking it. I know they want to test the waters to see if a movie's popular, but they're shooting themselves in the foot because some people are going to buy the Blu-ray and they're not going to double dip. There's some of us out there that will double dip, but a lot of us are going to go, God damn it, I'm not going to pay again for a movie. So what is, the studio's only gaining from the double dippers. That is the only way they're gaining anything. Now, the next movie that ties in with that is something I'm holding out. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I saw it at the theater last year. I freaking loved it. And I was so psyched. I was like, I want to own this at home. Blu-ray. No 4K. That came out in October, November timeframe. I can't remember. And here it is, the end of July. No announcement for 4K. What the fuck? And I really think the 4K HDR would really benefit this movie because, seeing the movie, there's a lot of dark scenes in this movie. I think this would really benefit from HDR, Dolby Vision. So I really want to see this on 4K. I'm holding out. I'm playing that waiting game. I am not buying that Blu-ray. I want the 4K for this damn thing. So that pretty much boils down all the stuff talking about the lack of options. Steel books, box sets versus individual releases, and Blu-rays versus 4Ks. We want those options as a collector. Give it to us so we don't have to double dip. Don't take advantage of us. Give us those damn options. Not all movies need a 4K. Like a movie like Air. Saw that at the theater with my wife. Loved the movie. Came out Blu-ray, no 4K. I'm okay with that one. I don't need a 4K of that one. It's a new release. The Blu-ray's gonna look pretty damn good. Now that brings us up to the last topic of this discussion. This is what got me going to make me want to do this video of how I think this is a true essence of how they're taking advantage of the collectors. Putting pre-orders up with no info available. They're just saying, hey, this movie's coming out on 4K. Here's a pre-order for it. We don't know when it's coming out. We're not giving you a picture of how it looks, but go ahead and give us your money and order it. I think this is a pretty shitty practice that they're starting, or maybe they've been doing this for a while. I haven't dealt with Zombie a lot. Maybe they've been doing this for a while. But a couple, talking about, buying something without seeing what it is The Nightmare on Elm Street. The 40th anniversary 4K is coming out. We don't have a release date. Well, Amazon says December 31st, but I don't know if they just threw that out there because they don't know. Why would they wait to December? I would still get the 40th anniversary in, but you'd think that would come out in October. But either way, that and Zombie, they don't have a release date for it. Both of them are saying December. But it does not have a picture, no image available. You can see a screenshot here. This is the screenshot from Amazon UK, which is where I did order it from. I pre-ordered it back in the beginning of June, I think. Here's a screenshot from Zombie, same thing. You can pre-order it, no image available, no release date. And other ones that have up, Zombie has the Terminator 4K, the 40th anniversary. Again, no release date, no image available. I pre-ordered mine through Zombie. But again, this is where I think they're taking advantage of collectors because, Elm Street, Terminator, those are two massive hits that people want in their collection. And they're banking on people like me that's going to say, I don't care, I want to have it. And I did. I haven't paid yet because they don't charge until they ship it. Which brings in another point of that, and brings in another aspect of the problem is, some of us that have tight budgets, we want to know when that money is going to come out. Well, here, I pre-ordered these movies on these sites. And I was like, I want to mark it in a checkbook so it's taken care of. At the same time, that's money I could be buying something else, but I also need to know when that money is going to come out to make sure my checkbook's balanced. So that's another part. I just think it's really shitty that they're doing this, not giving a release dates. I mean, not having images is one thing, but not at least give us a freaking release date so we know when we're going to pay for the damn things. Here's some more the Walking Dead TV series. I don't get into these, but again, there's several versions of these that are on Zavi that they're up for pre-order, no release date, no images available. And it's not just these sites. You can see it with Twisters. Just came out last weekend at the theaters. They've already announced the 4K releases on Universal and Walmart. They're taking pre-orders and there's no release date. I mean, they do have images available, but just no release date. This is a bad practice. You studios, wake the fuck up and quit doing this. If you're going to put this stuff available for pre-order, have the info available. Give us those images. Give us the pre-orders. Or don't put it up. If you don't have that info available, again, don't put it up. That's why I applaud Synapse Films. They're doing a 4K of Trick or Treats. Classic horror movies from the 80s. I'm so stoked. I'm plopping my money out as soon as it goes up. But they're not releasing the pre-orders yet because they don't have all the info. They have teased the artwork. They have 3 different cover art variants for the box sets they're putting out. But that's all they're doing. They're teasing us. But it's not a bad tease because we can't order it yet because we don't have all the info. No release date. They're still finalizing all of that. The last updates were they've got everything is done. It's all a matter of getting everything together from the vendors so they can put it together. And then they'll put up a release date and pre-orders. So I applaud Synapse for doing that. You know, don't put those pre-orders up until it's ready to go. Same thing with Second Sight. The Hitcher. We've all been drooling over that for the last 2 years. They've been talking about putting this out on 4K. They keep teasing us, but finally, they did not put that info out. When those pre-orders went up, they had pictures of the set. Everything was in it. They had all the details of the entire set. They had a release date. That is the proper way to do this. So everyone else, look at Synapse. Look at Second Sight. Watch how they're doing it. This is how it's to be done. Get the info done. Put it out there. Give it to us. Otherwise, don't tell us to fork out our money for it. You know, collectors like me that live on a tight budget can't afford to spend all this money for all these things coming out. I don't like putting money out there for stuff I don't know what it is. I just want to get the title, and that's what they're banking on. So that is really what's made me want to put this video out, talking about how we're taking advantage of is basically, the whole pre-order fiasco. I wanted to vent my frustrations, and please comment below. Let me know what you think about any of these topics. And, if you pre-order some of these, do you pre-order these things based on the title? Let's say like Terminator and Elm Street. Those are the biggest titles that are coming out. Are you going to pre-order it without knowing when they're coming out or what they look like? You're just going to say, hey, take my money. Some people are like that. I'm like that on some issues, but not everything. Or do you wait and see? Do you want to have all that info? So please let me know what your habits are, what you think about this stuff. Comment below. So it's bad to see Universals, like I said with Twisters, it's bad to see they're doing the same thing, that putting pre-orders up without having a freaking release date for it. So yeah, that pretty much ends my venting of my frustration about that. And other bad practices I think is happening within the physical media community. So I hope you like this discussion. Please check out my other videos on my channel. Like, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and we'll see you soon. Geek out.